Welcome to the Bleeding Edge Report with Chris and Treg, where tech meets its match.
Well, hey, welcome everyone to the third episode of the Bleeding Edge Report with Chris and Treg. We appreciate you stopping by again. We have a new program this week, and as usual, I don't really know what it is, so I'm with you, and we'll find out. But Chris this week is going to take the floor and provide his report on something this week. Hopefully, it should be of interest to us. It always is, and then we can talk about our key takeaways. So, one thing to do is if you like what we're doing here, please like and subscribe, and that tells us to keep on working on stuff. And if you have any suggestions, please send us any suggestions about our program, or even topics. If you want to throw out some topics, we'll be more than happy to take a look at anything that comes our way. So with that in mind, go ahead, Chris, and take the floor.
Well, thanks, Treg. Appreciate you introducing me. And have I ever let you down on topics before? I always bring something exciting, don't I?
Huh?
Well, considering this is our third episode, maybe the record is still
you haven't disappointed me with the Bleeding Edge Report stuff yet. No,
not yet. Okay,
not yet.
Well, I don't think I'm going to this time either.
Good.
So, Treg, have you ever heard of the AI engine called ChatGPT?
Well, so I have, and I was trying to remember where it was at, but it was actually, I was listening to a podcast with Joe Rogan this weekend. I was coming home and they were talking about something. What's it called again?
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Yeah. So they were talking about it, and I can't remember exactly what they were saying. They were saying it's pretty wild and it's something to watch. So that's all I know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they're not wrong there. And that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about today, because there is a lot of buzz about this ChatGPT AI engine is what I call it. It's artificial intelligence engine called ChatGPT. If you hang on, I'll show it to you so you don't have to go and look it up on the web.
Okay, got it.
Right. It's offered through OpenAI is the name of the company. And OpenAI, well, that is partially founded by one of your big, folks that you keep track of, right? Elon Musk. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he's the part founder in this, and it's truly a really fascinating thing. So I'm going to break it out into three things, because our viewers are wide in their disciplines in what they do every day. So non-tech folks like me and you, coders and strategists, right? So technology strategists, I think, would be particularly interested in this. But let's start at the beginning. ChatGPT. So GPT, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer. I'll repeat that. Generative Pre-trained Transformer. So what that means is, basically, there is a database that this thing runs off of. So it does not crawl the web. It is not Google, right? This is a really important point for people to understand this thing. It's running off a database. And so all it has to draw on is the information in that database, right? And when I say one database, I'm thinking virtually, right? It could be linked to several. Don't really know. It doesn't really matter at this point. The point is, it's not crawling and looking for web pages. So this system is open to the public. You can go and get an account, and they're encouraging people to take a look at this and play with it, because they want to learn from people's interactions in order to help, I guess, refine the algorithm to make this ChatGPT even smarter, right? That's why artificial intelligence engines are always shared, to make them smarter. It's not really to help you, it's to help them. So that's what's going on right now. And I've gone ahead and got a account. So I think I'm just going to share the account right now, and let's take a look at it together. Okay, so can you see my screen, Trey?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so you can see that this says ChatGPT. It's got every time you log in, it's got a little preamble, talks about what it's for and what it's not for, things like this that you have to click through to make sure you're going to comply. So then this is the main landing page, and it goes through some examples of queries. Then it's got the capabilities of what it can do for you, and then it's got limitations. And so the team that's developing this is being very open on the fact that it's testing this, and it's also open that the fact that the answers are not coming from human beings. It's coming from this one database driven AI application, right? So this is basically how it works. Down here, if you can see at the bottom of the screen, there's a little window, and you just type in anything, right? So I was having a little fun with it earlier, and I was asking funny things like how much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? And the answers do pop up. It does process it as a legitimate question. In fact, let's just run that and I'll show you. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck? Okay, I got it, right? So then you just click for it to chew on that question. Clearly, it's a tough question.
That's a long question.
Yes, that's right. And that does matter.
How long does it usually take to come up with an answer?
Well, it depends on the question. Most I've ever seen is like 5 seconds.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's having to call a friend, phone a friend.
Perhaps no one in the world has actually asked this question except me. But don't worry, it's going to get back to me.
Ooh.
What's it say?
It says the request model is not compatible with this engine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go back.
Hey, and put this in, type this in.
All right.
How do we make our podcasts better? How do you make a podcast better? Yes.
This actually is an interesting point because I've never seen this not answer like that, but it does matter how you write the question.
Oh, here we go. Improve audio quality. That's good. We got our mics. Plan ahead.
Engage with your audience.
Yes. That's a good one. Yeah.
Have to try that.
So again, if you're watching this and you have any good ideas on for us to talk about, send them to us.
That's right. Like maybe test the questions on your demo before you do that. That'd be a good one.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it keeps going. So this this AI engine is actually built to interact in text, as you can see, right? But it's also built to actually write things. Like there's been a lot of requests for it to write essays, and there's actually a guy who wrote a book. He says supposedly for his children, right? But somehow it ended up on Amazon's Kindle. But that aside, the point was he interacted with this machine, and the machine wrote probably 80% of the book. He went back, maybe made some changes, edited a little bit of it, and bang, he had most of the content for his book.
So let me ask the question: what's the end game here? What's the goal of this whole thing?
All right. So the goal of this actual interaction is to improve the ChatGPT AI engine, right? That's what's going on. That's why we're interacting with it. However, the ultimate business goal for ChatGPT as a product would be basically a business tool, right? To help streamline your work, right? So right now, if you take a moment and think about how you do work and how you communicate, there's a lot of different ways that this type of tool could actually help. It's just a matter of does this tool have the data in its database in order to work in your specific line of work. So for example, we did a podcast the other day about the medical industry, right? And how difficult is it for doctors to spend so much time away from engaging with human beings for their patients and actually engaging with the machine called a computer, right? So if there was a application like this that could actually accelerate the documentation portion of their job in order to do compliance, and it's intelligent enough to select the right words, right? Because they know the terminology, they have all the vocabulary, the lexicon, if you will, then I don't see why it wouldn't be a tremendous help to the medical industry in that manner.
You know, one thing I was thinking along the medical industry is, I mean, give you an example. Someone walks into the patient room, doctor walks in, and the patient goes, "Well, my big toe's hurting," right? Or it hurts like heck. And then the doctor, you know, right now the doctor has to pull all of his experience on what they've had to, what he's experienced with toes and what he's been told.
Well, let's try it.
Okay.
I just typed it. Why does my toe hurt? You see
Okay.
that? Let's try it.
Okay. See, okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about. It's like, so if I'm a doctor and someone says their toe hurts and I'm doing detective work, it'd be kind of cool to just type in something and say, this is a problem. And it's not going to tell me what it is, but it could tell me the top things that it could be. So I don't have to riddle through my memory, you know, and I have a checklist of at least a minimal checklist to go through and say, okay, I'm going to rule out these things, right?
Well, not even that. I mean, if this was available for the patient to maybe do some self-query before the appointment, you can imagine it would streamline the discussion with the doctor, therefore saving time. Because let's say he goes, well, geez, I don't know which one it is. I'm going to investigate all 8 of these. He could go one by one and ask this same machine, oh, well, what are the key pain points for an ingrown toenail? Because maybe it's that. And through deductive reasoning, by checking each one of these, then you could maybe isolate it down to 1 or 2 things. And then that conversation would go a lot faster. So either way, you can see there's an opportunity there, right?
Yeah.
Just in the medical industry. But I'll tell you who's using this right now. People who are writing code are using this right now. Okay. I don't write code, but my understanding is that people who are writing software, they basically use a lot of scripts, right? Which are pre-existing sets of code that they can copy and paste into their own application, thereby making a very large application quickly because they already know that this section of code or this script is tried and true, right? So, you know, for example, we might ask, can you write a software? I'm just going to try to make it as layman as possible. Software program. Let's call it that.
Well, how about script? Can you write a software script that looks up someone's address or something like that?
How about this on a phone?
Okay.
Let's see what it says. Because I've read numerous articles where
Have you ever
this
tried?
is-
Have you ever tried that?
have I ever tried this question before? No.
Oh my God! Here's an example of a Python script. Use Google API. This is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. So I saw that a lot of this is being a lot of articles that I read were focused on writing code basically, and how this saves so much time for the code writer that they're really excited about it, is kind of the point, right? So yeah, so coders, so taking it back to a high level to some of the clients that we deal with our business, you know, if you are a technology strategist, question might be, you know, to evaluate ChatGPT to see what kind of use cases would work really well to grow your own business, right? That would be on my to-do list if I was working in a large software company or another technology company. I check this out and really put it through its phases to see, you know, maybe work with the product managers at their level to see how can it help, right? Is there a way that's going to save time and produce more, drive more productivity, for example, in my team to produce a product, because that obviously is going to drive a cost savings because time equal money. And then that may drop to a bottom line savings or improvement on your bottom line, if you will. So
let me, an example of what you're talking about, I think,
yes,
would be, let's go back to the medical stuff that we did, you know, last week, and we were talking about the EHR system.
mm-hmm.
So, you know, if you're an EHR provider, right, a software provider, that you can use that you can use some kind of artificial intelligence like this,
yes,
to help with diagnostics or you know, doing the detective work during the EHR or the visit where you're interacting with the EHR.
yes,
then having that could reduce time, could make it more efficient, could make it more usable. So instead of just typing something in and get nothing back,
right,
now someone can type something in and get something back.
yes,
A doctor could, and so
yes,
that interaction is now is a positive. And if it can help reduce their time and make sure that they're covering everything. The one thing I was thinking about when I saw that was if comparing it versus Google, right? If you go on Google and you type in "my toe hurts," what do you get? You get, first of all, you get all the Google ad pages trying to sell you toe medicine or whatever. But then you get down to the crux of it, and then you hit a web page and someone wrote an article, and then you got to sift through that article, scroll down probably 3 pages to get to this list of problems, go through all these ads and everything. And so that interaction is not conducive to using it very well. It's not user friendly. There's a lot of baggage that comes with that interaction.
I agree. I think that your analysis is spot on. I call this, you know, this is getting pretty close to what I would say is wisdom on demand. And that's really what people want.
I like that word, wisdom on demand.
Right?
Is that your own? Did you just make that up, or?
I didn't just make that up. I've been trying to coin that for years because I really think that that's what people want. They want wisdom on demand. They don't want anything they don't want. They just want what they want. Just tell me, get to the point. My wife always tells me that, get to the point. And so I do my best to do that. And I think that this tool can really help that rather than searching the traditional Google method. And it's very interesting because if you read in the press, Google is not scoring anything generated by ChatGPT highly. So they're keeping those ChatGPT generated web pages very low.
So when they crawl the pages, they're discounting the value of those pages just because it came from ChatGPT.
Yeah, it's a threat. So it's a very interesting thing. I will drop a few more factoids on you, and then the punchline of this for our viewers is you should check it out. I know you have to register for an account and things, but I found this very interesting because of the wide array of discussions you can have with this database, and the quality of the answers it's pretty good. I mean, I think that it makes your mind go into that whole thing around the Terminator movie with Skynet. I mean, that's a pretty scary thing to think about, and that's a whole other show we could philosophize on. I'm not gonna do that. What I'm gonna tell you is there are some folks who are studying this very carefully, and what they've shared is later in 2023 there's going to be a new version of ChatGPT. Right now we're on version 3. Version 4 is supposed to come out later in 2023, this year, and it's supposed to be basically, I think they said 500,000 times more powerful than this current version. I know
500,000 times more. How do you quantify that?
It's tough to wrap your brain around. Okay, so basically they measured in terms of the number of billions of parameters they can slice and dice this data, and that's the point of the software, is to slice and dice the data and then put it into a contiguous manner that can be consumed by humans, basically, right? That's the point. So right now we have 175 billion parameters with this version, right? That's a tough one to think about. The next version is supposed to have 100 trillion parameters. I mean, I can't even think about a number that big, except maybe our government deficit. But setting that aside, the only comparison, staying within this scientific realm, the comparison that they made for 100 trillion parameters is that puts it basically on par with the number of parameters that are capable in a human brain. So
wow.
We are inching forward. The development of AI has been phenomenal in my lifetime. When I was in university, we talked about it, and people, it was all theory basically. But now we're seeing it, right? And we're seeing it progress so fast. It's incredible. So, there will be plenty of time in the future to talk about the morality of it, how to regulate it, what the value is to humanity. Is it good for humanity or bad for humanity? The debate is raging. If you want to go look for it, it's not too hard to find. So I'll stop there. I just wanted to introduce everybody to the artificial intelligence ChatGPT, because it is the hottest technology out there, in my opinion. And I do encourage people to check it out and really play with it and see what you think, because there may be a business breakthrough for you right there. Thanks, Treg.
Well, thank you. I think, that was a good summary. I was wondering what it was, and now I have a pretty good grasp. I'm kind of a visual learner, and so that helps a lot. But I appreciate it. And that is our episode. What do we call that episode anyway? Do you got a name for it?
We'll call it the ChatGPT 3.0 episode.
Okay, that's fine. So ChatGPT episode. I'm not even going to pronounce what GDP stands for anymore.
P is in Paul. Sorry, my microphone.
GDP.
GPT.
GPT. They need to come up with a new name. Hey, that does not roll off your tongue. It's like it's like putting a record going backwards. You got to figure out how to talk backwards with that. Anyway.
I bury Paul.
Anyway, thanks everyone for joining us. If you like what you learned today and got a little bit out of it, we appreciate it if you like and subscribe. Help us out there. And until next week, everyone take care. Thank you very much.
Thank you.